Okay, in this problem, I'm going to solve this polynomial inequality, x minus 1 times x minus 2 times x minus 3 less than 0. I already have all my terms on one side, and it's already been factorized. The left-hand side has already been factorized. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solve it by letting my left-hand side equal to 0 and then solving it to find the roots. Well, clearly the zero product property tells me that the solutions here are x equals 1, x equals 2, and x equals 3. And so those represent my three roots. So if I was to just give myself a graph here, it would look perhaps something like so. I have 1, 2, and 3. So these are my three roots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a value of x either side and in between these roots. So I'm going to take a value of x out here to the left of 1, so maybe I'll take 0. I'll take a value of x in between 1 and 2, so I'll take, say, 3 over 2. I'll take a value of x in between 2 and 3, so I will take 5 over 2. And then I'll take a value out here, so I'll just take an integer, I'll take 4. So I'll take some value out there. I'm going to find the value of my function at each of these 4 values. And all I'm interested in is working out whether or not the function is positive or negative for these 4 values. All right, so I have, again, f of x, if I want us to call it that, which is x minus 1 times x minus 2 times x minus 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find f of 0. So that's that first one on to the left of my first root, my most left-hand side root. So f of 0 will be negative 1 times negative 2 times negative 3. And that is going to give me, that's negative 6. Again, the actual value I care less about. I care whether or not it's positive or negative, and clearly in this case it is negative. So it is negative. So my function is negative to the left of to the left of 1. My function is negative. All right, now I'm going to find f of 3 over 2. F of 3 over 2. So that's in between the root 1 and root 2. Well, that will give me 3 over 2 minus 1 times 3 over 2 minus 2 times 3 over 2 minus 3. And if I work this out, I get 1.5 minus 1, so I have a half. I have 1.5 minus 2, so I have negative a half. And then I have 1.5 minus 3, so that is negative 1.5, or negative 3 over 2. And again, I'm multiplying a positive times a negative times a negative, and so that will overall give me a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive times a positive. So I'm going to get a positive result. This is positive, which tells me that in between 1 and 2, my function is positive. So my function is up here somewhere, right? It's positive up here. It's positive. Whereas down here, it's negative. My function is negative. All right, let me try 5 over 2. So f of 5 over 2. Well, that will be 5 over 2 minus 1 times 5 over 2 minus 2 times 5 over 2 minus 3. So that is 2.5 minus 1, so that's 1.5. This will be 3 over 2. I have 2.5 minus 2, so that will be a half. And then I have 2.5 minus 3, so that's negative a half. And so I'm multiplying a positive times a positive, that's positive, times a negative, that will be negative. And so you see that this value will be negative. So that means that my function is negative between 2 and 3. So my function is negative, it's down here. My function is negative between 2 and 3, and of course I know it's 0 at 3. And then finally, I will take one more value, so that's to the right of 3, I will take f of 4. F of 4. That is going to be 4 minus 1 times 4 minus 2 times 4 minus 3. And so I'm getting 3 times 2 times 1. And that's 6. That's positive. And so my function is positive over here, which again means that my function therefore is going to go up here, and it's going to be positive to the right of 3. I am asked in my problem for the values of, to solve this inequality less than 0. So for what values of x is my function less than 0? Well, if I look at my function then, I can see that my function is less than 0 here, these values, and then in between these two values, right there. Those are the two values for which my function is negative. So it's to the left of 1. So it is for values of x to the left of 1, that's less than 1. So x less than 1. And also for values of x in between 2 and 3. So that's to the left of 2. So for x greater than 2 and less than 3. X less than 3. And so my solution, I could group these two together. This is 2 less than x less than 3, and also for x less than 1. And so this is my solution. My solution is these two taken together. These are my solution sets. So it's for values of x between 2 and 3, and for values of x less than 1, will my function be negative. At all other values of x, will my function be positive. And so that's the solution right there. Thank you.